After the OG Anunoby trade, I watched in agony as thousands of casual fans said the Raptors robbed the Knicks, suggesting that giving up on Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett for a Defensive Player of the Year level defender was way too much. Now every Knicks fan in America is on board with the trade after seeing how amazing the team is playing with the new addition. And while there have been a countless amount of videos talking about the specifics of the trade, I'm going to take it a step further. It may sound like a reach, but after trading for OG, I'm about to make the case that this Knicks squad has the potential to be the best Knicks team of all time. Yes, even better than the 98-99 Knicks. Under the leadership of head coach Jeff Van Gundy, the Knicks were fueled by a gritty and defensive-minded bench that became their identity throughout the season. The roster featured well-known names like Patrick Ewing, Allen Houston, and Latrell Sprewell, blending experience with the hunger for success. The regular season unfolded with the Knicks showcasing their defense-first mentality, limiting opponents to a league-low 88.7 points per game. Despite battling injuries, Ewing provided a veteran presence, while Houston and Sprewell emerged as offensive sparks, averaging 18 and 16 points per game respectively. Despite finishing the regular season with a respectable 27-23 record, the Knicks entered the playoffs as the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Their journey was remarkable, starting with an upset victory over the top-seeded Miami Heat in the first round. Allen Houston etched his name into Knicks history with a memorable game-winning shot in the decisive Game 5. The Knicks continued their Cinderella run, defeating the Atlanta Hawks and advancing to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1994. Facing the San Antonio Spurs, led by a young Tim Duncan and a seasoned David Robinson, the Knicks were on the cusp of redemption. In Game 3 of the Finals, the Knicks secured a crucial victory in a defensive battle, seizing a 2-1 series lead. However, their championship aspirations were dashed heartbreakingly. In Game 4, with the series tied 2-2, Allen Houston's potential game winner rattled out in the closing seconds, setting the stage for a decisive Game 5. The Spurs, led by the steady hand of Greg Popovich, ultimately clinched the championship with a 78-77 victory in Game 5. The Knicks fought valiantly, with Latrell Sprewell's 35-point outburst not enough to overcome the Spurs' resilience. As the final buzzer sounded, the Knicks were left to ponder what could have been. And since then, the Knicks have never returned to the finals. One of the primary culprits contributing to the Knicks' extended finals drought has been a series of underwhelming draft picks. Year after year, the team found itself in positions to secure transformative talents, yet the results often left fans scratching their heads. Whether it was the drafting of players who failed to meet expectations or the infamous passing over of future superstars, the draft became a source of frustration and missed opportunities. The litany of draft mishaps is as painful as it is extensive. From selecting players who failed to make a significant impact to passing on future all-stars, the Knicks draft history reads like a cautionary tale for aspiring front offices. The collective groans of Knicks fans echoed through the years as the team struggled to unearth the next franchise player to lead them to glory. Compounding the draft missteps were the questionable decisions made by the front office, a group entrusted with shaping the team's destiny. The revolving door of executives, coaches, and management personnel created an environment of instability, hindering the Knicks' ability to establish a sustainable winning culture. The lack of a cohesive vision and a penchant for short-term fixes only exacerbated the team's challenges. Now, in 2024, things are finally heading in the right direction. OG Anunoby has been a godsend for Madison Square Garden, and honestly, many are even comparing his potential impact to that of Kawhi Leonard back in 2014 with the Spurs. They're not the same, but more in that Kawhi was the final piece that put the Spurs over the edge, tagging along with the big three Manu, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan. Leonard, a young and relatively unknown prospect at that time, brought an intriguing combination of length, defensive ability, and a work ethic that greatly portrayed the Spurs' culture of excellence. As the 2014 season approached, the Spurs searched for that elusive element to complement their big three. The regular season unfolded and Leonard showcased glimpses of his potential. His defensive tenacity, wingspan, and ability to guard multiple positions caught the attention of almost everyone in the league, especially his opponents. As the playoffs came around, the basketball world anticipated a showdown between the Spurs and the defending champions, the Miami Heat. The NBA Finals were a clash of titans, and Game 3 would be a turning point. With the series tied 1-1, the Spurs needed a statement game. Leonard, however, had other plans. In a performance for the ages, he erupted for 29 points, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, showcasing loads of offensive potential that had yet to materialize in his young career fully. The Spurs trounced the Heat, taking a 2-1 series lead. But it wasn't just the points, but how Leonard impacted the game. His defensive assignments ranged from LeBron James to Dwayne Wade, showcasing his versatility and defensive IQ. His ability to lock down opponents while contributing significantly on the offensive end was the catalyst the Spurs needed. As the series unfolded, Leonard's impact only grew. His stat line in the finals was spectacular: 17.8 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and a finals MVP award. The Spurs dismantled the Heat in 5 games. My point is, OG has that potential defensively, and it's ironic enough that he has similar physical tools in terms of length. And not only that, but he has an ability that not too many have had. He's a great on-ball defender and even better off-ball defender. It's not that common that a defender is excellent at both. For example, Lou Dort is a great on-ball defender, and his off-ball defense is outstanding in certain areas, but it's nowhere near his on-ball defense. And the same can be said for just about any other elite defender in the NBA. There is a reason OG was in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation last season. The man is a game changer on that end. Did you know in the last 6+ games, the Knicks are statistically one of, if not the best defenses in the NBA? Is that a coincidence? OG has flipped their entire team around. And I still can't believe people thought the Knicks got robbed. Nonetheless, it's becoming crystal clear that the Knicks can reach new heights with him on the roster. Jalen Brunson has been incredibly great this season as the leader, averaging 25 points while shooting 47% from the field and over 40% from the three-point line. He has repeatedly shown that he can perform well in big games, and he's only 27 years old. The thing I love most about his game is how controlled he is. He plays at his own pace, never getting sped up by defenders. He's always had a veteran style of play at the guard position, even dating back to his time in college with the Wildcats. And of course, we saw it at the pro level when he was partnered with Luka Doncic. Man, I wanted that duo to stay together. However, the Mavericks ended up with Kyrie, so there's that. Nonetheless, it's amazing to witness the emergence of Brunson. Coming into the league, many doubted his playstyle would translate. He was undersized, wasn't a great three-point shooter, wasn't necessarily explosive or crazy athletic, nor was he an impactful defender. What we see now is the finished product of someone who put in countless amounts of hours into the gym and perfected his craft. There's a reason he was drafted late in the second round, and no one could have seen this coming. Brunson is a legit all-star, and depending on what he does in this year's postseason, he could be knocking on the door becoming a superstar. Only time will tell. When it comes to Julius Randle, while I'm not the biggest fan of his brand of basketball, he's been playing great, putting up 24, 9, and 4. Even better news, Mitchell Robinson, who went down with an injury earlier this season, is expected to come back later in the regular season, which could be huge. Robinson was in the Defensive Player of the Year race this year, and was anchoring the best defense in the league before he went down. So if he comes back, you better believe he and OG will be one of the best defensive duos in all of basketball. Isaiah Hartenstein is Robinson's replacement for now, and he's been terrific. He's a great rebounder, efficient finisher around the basket, good passer and decision maker, and pretty solid defensively. This big man's depth makes New York 3 times the threat. Not only the big man depth though, because Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes, and Precious Achiuwa are all excellent role players who play hard on both sides of the court. And OG's offense will get better and better as time progresses. He's a good catch-and-shoot shooter who you can't leave open. However, the more he can expand his game here, the more dangerous the Knicks can be down the road. Tom Thibodeau said this regarding just that. Your hustle can make up for a lot, and that's really what he's doing. And each day, he'll get better and better. And guys are also starting to figure him out. That takes a little bit of time, but help where you can hustle. Be in passing lanes, get deflections, help on the boards, play physically, run the floor, and move without the ball. Those are things he does great. And then as time passes, he'll find more places to get scoring opportunities too. All in all, this Knicks team is as fun to watch as it's been since Carmelo Anthony was in the blue and orange. While they still don't have that quote-unquote superstar, I think every Knicks fan is more than happy with what they have. But I want you guys to let me know what your expectations are for this Knicks squad. Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.